you hardcore boxing fans out there, how you doing? It's Big Porky here, and still the voice of hardcore boxing. Well, I like to think I am. We're just going to have a little bit of a chat about the Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn shows. I'm not going to go into too much detail about them all. I'm just going to speak about the fights that I thought were alright. The Frank Warren show, the Maxwell stole the show, didn't he, Sam Maxwell? So I thought that was a fantastic fight, that. Two kids, 10-0, going at it, and there was a bit of needle in the fight. It looked like it was a good show, didn't it? So I'm going to give Frank's show a 7 out of 10. Eddie Hearn's show, I'm going to give it a 6. All Frank's fighters won. I forget how many were on the show now, were there 12 or something? Every single fight of Frank's won. All the home fighters won. All Eddie's won except Tom Ansell. So that's how the matchmaking has worked on those shows. One loss in 20 fights from 2 promoters. So it just shows you that the matchmaking is favouring the home fighter. But I thought Frank Warren's show, there were more 50-50 fights than on Eddie Hearn's show. It's just how I feel about it. I thought Lewis Ritson lost by a round, although I could see him giving it a draw, because Ritson's, you know, the matchroom fighter, but no way did he win by that. That was shocking. Really shocking. This is how boxing's going in at the moment with scoring. How am I going to drink this without giving it all over the place? Sick of these shakes now. I wish I'd not had this band now. I wish I'd instead of going out and paying $7 grand now, I wish I'd just got my head down and got into a training regime. But it is what it is, isn't it? But anyway, getting back to boxing, Charlie Edwards won, didn't he? So that's good, isn't it? Quite like him actually. But a flyweight headlining. Is that the first male fighter in a world title fight for Matchroom, fighting at home on a Saturday night on non-pay-per-view? I think it's about 2 years, isn't it? I think it's something like that. Anyway, let's just have a little flick through. Like I said, I thought Lewis Ritson, thought that was shocking. But anyway, let's have a little look through at what's been going on in the world of boxing. Eddie Hearn says that the Schwartz fight is dreadful and is not top 15. Yeah, but Miller's also dreadful as well, isn't he, Eddie? So, you know, you can't be throwing stones at Frank Warren when you're putting Joshua in with Miller. Fat Dan smiles. Top Rank is desperate. Fights aren't made on social media, Bob. Fat Dan smiles. Fat Dan Rayfield is that. Let's have a look what Fat Dan's got to say. I were bigger than Fat Dan. Fat Dan should have a gastric, shouldn't he? What do you reckon? Number 1, Heyman isn't on Twitter. Number 2, fights aren't made on social media. They're made behind closed doors in private, if sides actually want to make them. Number 3, Top Rank has no top opponents for Crawford to fight, hence the apparent desperation. Number 4, Bob knows that 1, 2, 3 above. What? Dan Rayfield. Link been removed. Fat Dan opening his mouth. Let's hope Bob Arum, the Bob father, uses his power with ESPN to get Fat Dan fired. Can't stand Fat Dan, somebody's put. Dan Rayfield is Dan Rayfield's one of them people in the boxing industry. He goes where the current people are. So like Eddie Hearn's known as the man at the moment, so basically he's going to float Eddie's boat, isn't he? Now, when Bob Arum were riding back in the day, Fat Dan were all over him like a rash. When Froch fought Booty, right, I saw Fat Dan in Nottingham. He was sitting down and he had this meal. I don't know what it were, this meal, but it was a biggish meal. And he said, and I quote, "The portion sizes are not good value in England compared to America, because in America you get like a big mountain on your plate, don't you?" So I said to him at the time, "Well, you get what you pay for, don't you? And you know, if you want to have a starter or a pudding after, you can." And he said, "A pudding? Well, he didn't even know what a pudding were. They call it dessert, don't they?" But I was probably the same weight as Fat Dan then. And now look, I'm half at weight, aren't I? I'm half the person I was. Once I've got another stone and a half off, I'm half the person I was. But Fat Dan's not done anything with his weight, has he? Because I actually spoke to him about weight issues and he said he needs to get some pounds off. Pounds? What you mean stones? But I'm not a Fat Dan fan. He always slags Froch off. And he said that British fight fans drink too much beer when he were at Nottingham. But what can you do? David Price has piped up. "I'm confident I can beat Dominic Breazeale." See, this is what fighters do, you see, right? They put themselves in a position where they're into the mix. They do it through social media and interviews. For example, David Price here. He's been iced, has he, 6 or 7 times? And he's saying here, the Olympic bronze medal winner David Price is looking to rebuild himself, hoping to secure a world title shot after suffering defeats last year to Povetkin and Kuzmin. After stopping Tom Little in December to get back on a winning path, Price, 23-6, will face unbeaten Cash Ali on Saturday night in Liverpool. Price went on to say, "Realistically, I've got to keep winning, lad, and hope that something comes my way," revealed Price to Sky Sports. "For too long, lad, I was looking too far ahead and hoping for the big fight with one of the champions, but the time has come when I can't do that. I've lost 6 times and no promoter is going to sit down with me, lad, and give me a long-term plan where I can be guided to such an opportunity. I've just come to take it one fight at a time, lad. Keep on winning and then see where it takes me." Right. Price believes he can get back in position for a world title shot in the same manner as Dominic Breazeale. Back in position for a world title shot. Back in position. When has David Price ever been in a position for a world title shot? When? I don't even think he's fought for a European, has he? I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on it. On May 18th he gets a mandatory second crack. Oh no. Price believes he can get back in position for a world title shot in the same manner as Breazeale. Oh, back in 16 Breazeale got his first world title crack and were knocked out by Big Dosafemi. On May 18th he gets a mandatory second crack. Yeah, sorry. So he's going to fight Wilder Breazeale. Breazeale's recovery gives Price hope. Fucking what? I look at Dominic Breazeale, and when I see him, I don't see anything that's worth worrying about in the slightest. The difference between me and him is the way he's been guided to such a position, as he's on the verge of challenging for another world title. That's what you call brilliant management. He's someone who's never really impressed me, but you look at his record and he's only lost once, and he's about to go into a fight with Wilder after already fighting Joshua. He's someone I'd be confident of beating if we ever fought, but I'm not in any sort of position to be asking for that fight at this moment. Listen, David Price, message for you. Give it up, mate, give it up. You've been iced 6 times. You've never gone above British level. You shouldn't even be fighting, mate. You're going to get hurt. Now, you're a nice guy. You're a plumber. Go out and do what plumbers do. What do plumbers do? They plumb, don't they? Go out and do what you've got to do, mate. You've made a few quid out of boxing. Get out while you can, mate. Get out while you can, because it's an horrible business. It's an horrible game, mate. Get out and go plumb and look after your family, mate. Don't hang around boxing too long. You've been iced 6 times now. How many more times can you keep coming back? I don't know who's manages you, David Price, whether you manage yourself or not, but you're there for Cash Ali to knock about this weekend. That's why you're there. Now, after Cash Ali beats you, what are you going to do then? But if you beat Cash Ali, you might get a shot at a British title or something, but you're not going to be calling Gorman out, are you, or Dubois. Your level is about Dave Allen's level now. You're coming down and Dave's coming up. But Dave's not won a central area yet, so I don't know. But the way I look at it, Price, is you need to give it up. Give it up and go be a plumber. I've said that a few times in this interview now, but it's just David Price fighting is what's wrong with boxing. 6 times you've been knocked out. The people around you need to take a good look at themselves, as if to say, what are we doing to this kid here? We keep going on about this big knockout power that David Price has got, but who has David Price ever knocked out that's any good? Tom Little, Audley Harrison, Sam Sexton. Does knocking them guys out make you in mix with, you know, the world title guys? You're saying you need to get back to where you were. You were never there anyway. I don't think so, and I think whoever's guiding your career is making mistakes, because they should be saying to you, that's it. 6 times, and they weren't just normal knockouts, were they? You were. Give it up, mate. Give it up and get out. You're a nice guy. Am I a keyboard warrior? Am I a keyboard warrior? Aye. Saying that. Oh, he's a keyboard warrior sat behind the keyboard. I'm behind the keyboard now, but I'm also behind the camera. I'm not hiding behind the keyboard and hiding my face like people. I have people that send messages on YouTube to us, and they send emails, and they're hiding behind different IDs and different they hide behind different names and different email addresses, and they're the keyboard warriors. I'm not a keyboard warrior, alright? I'm not. I do a little bit of work in boxing and Stuart Dennis Hobson, a lot of things behind the scenes I do, which I enjoy, but I'm not hiding. I'm giving my opinion, right? David Price, you need to give it up and go look after your family. You're a nice guy. Don't let these people who are guiding you into these fights keep telling you that you've got loads left in tank and you've still got that knockout power. You'll have that power when you're 60 years old. You're still going to have that power when you're 60, David, 65 even. But just get out of the game, mate. Get out of it and go run your plumbing business. I know that sounds pretty condescending, doesn't it? But it's an horrible game run by people who are not bothered about your feelings. 6 times you're going to get hurt. You'll get hurt if you carry on. He's just a nice guy, David Price, and I just don't want to see him, people take advantage of him. He's just saying here, brilliant management's done that to Brazil. Well, look what brilliant management's done for David Price. I mean, who's advising him? And then we've got some of these on here, some of these comments here. Price is a tough guy to match. Opponents and their promoters are aware that he has enough power to hurt anyone. So he is a banana skin despite his glass jaw, hummingbird-sized lungs, and all-around stiffness. That's a bit harsh. If Price strings a few wins together, I can see Price versus AJ happening in a $100 million mega fight of the century with Eddie as a promoter. The UK fanboys will lap this up and throw money at it. Fucking. And then somebody's put, not that Brazil is any good, but simply being able to stand on your feet for 3 or 4 rounds is enough to beat Price at this time. Unfortunately, Brazil is tough and he can punch a little bit. He'd take Price. I'm going to be here all day reading these out. If Price strings a few wins, I can see Price AJ. No, I can't. Price versus Shannon Briggs could be fun and possibly even competitive. Remember, the last thing to go is your power, and Briggs still has plenty of power. Briggs would massacre Price. Maybe he probably would, who knows. Dave Caldwell wants Lee Wood to stay very active. Of course he will, because if he's active, Dave Caldwell's going to get his slice of the cake, isn't he? Frank Warren says Eubanks handlers refuse the Saunders rematch. Everybody's refusing to fight Billy Joe, aren't they? Canelo, Triple G, Eubank. Nobody wants to fight Billy Joe, according to Frank. Espinosa will believe Aram about Wilder Fury when he acts on it. I agree with that. Conor McGregor announces his retirement. He'll come back. Julio Cesar Chavez eyes ring return on June 22nd. It won't happen. Kubrat Pulev reacts to criticism for kissing reporter in video. Pulev, I do have a little bit of, I wasn't going to say pull them, but that would be exaggerating, wouldn't it? I do know a guy who's in Pulev's team. I wasn't going to say anything, but I've cleared it with a couple of people. Pulev's going to fight Joshua at Christmas this year. Keep watching this space. If that were Hatman, he'd do it as a video, wouldn't he? As breaking news. And get it wrong like he did about Brian Jennings the other day. Fury, I'll employ Wilder, Joshua once they've spent their money. God. Oh God, Fury, what's he on about now? Tyson Fury's future plans for Wilder and Joshua might not necessarily include fighting either of them. I'll tell you what I can do with them two, yeah? Fury told BT Sport. I can give him a job carrying my boots and bags. Asgi will be out of job then, won't he? So when they've all been busted very soon, when they fight each other and knock lumps off each other and they get beat up and they lose their careers, and they lose their careers and their careers are over, they can come to the Gypsy King and I'll employ him. Because let's face it, they've not got the most brains in the world. So I'll give them a job when they've spent all the money, because it's becoming very sharp when they're all skinned. I'll employ you boys, don't worry, bring yous over, you can brush up the drive, no problem. Take a few leaves home, sign a few autographs on my behalf, carry me bags, clean me pillow, feed me animals and pick up the dog poop, because that's all yous will be good for sooner or later. I can't believe Tyson's speaking like this. Whatever happened to Tyson, the reformed character? Fury's fictitious plans for Wilder and Joshua, notwithstanding, each of these 3 unbeaten heavyweights will participate in fights that don't involve one another over a 4-week span during May and June. Wilder of Tuscaloosa, Alabama is scheduled to make a defence against Brazil. 2 weeks later, Joshua from Watford fights Miller in New York, and then another 2 weeks later, Fury and German's undefeated Tom Schwartz are scheduled in to square off in a 10-rounder. That'll be on ESPN Plus streamed. And these are what the comments are saying. Knock out Schwartz and then rematch Wilder. If not, shut the fuck up. You condone Wilder's blatant ducking but give Fury shit. Laugh my arse up at Wilder disciples. I don't understand all these comments. I'm not going to read them out because it's swearing stuff. Fury has to use jokes to help hide the embarrassment from ducking a fight with Wilder. Imagine if Team Wilder demanded that his opponents have to sign with Heyman and Showtime in order to get a fight. Joshua was still living with his mum in a council flat until a year ago. He doesn't seem stupid with his money. No, I don't think Joshua's stupid with his money at all. I don't think Tyson is either. He's a smart businessman. Well, he's obviously getting millions of pounds to fight Tom Schwartz. Well, when he could have had about similar money to fight Wilder, which is an harder fight, isn't it? Let's have a look. Micah Garcia going back to 135. WBC. Tyson Fury's trainer explains why Schwartz is the right fight. Oh, God. Let's have a look at this. Ben Davidson, who trains Fury, is not taking the unknown Schwartz lightly. Fans, on the other hand, are not very pleased with the fight. It says on boxingscene.com. Ben Davidson replied, "You can't win, can you? A few names got sent across and we had a look. We don't want to make the adjustment of somebody big in size to somebody small to have to go back to someone big, because the other 2 elite fighters that we're looking to make fights with are obviously 6'6". That was a criteria, that we wanted somebody big. We wanted somebody in the top 5, and who have you got?" Davidson told IFL TV. So Davidson's an MTK guy, and he's being interviewed by IFL, who is sponsored by MTK. Tyson's advisors are MTK as well, so this is basically an MTK thing, isn't it? Pulev is mandatory for Joshua and is obviously in line for a big payday. I've just told you that. They're going to fight in December. Rivers is 6 foot. He's no good. Dillian White is in a position where he's discussing with ESPN, Fox, Sky and DAZN, which puts him in a position where he doesn't know whether he's coming or going. Miller's taken up by Joshua. Brazil's taken up by Wilder. Tom Schwartz is number 2 with the WBO, also number 9 with IBF. So he's ranked in the top 10 with 2 organisations. When the fight got sent to us as well, he was ranked number 11 on BoxRec, but all of a sudden that got changed. He's now number 42. That's Eddie Hearn's guy at Boxrec, he's done that. I didn't know you were number 11 though, Swartz. We're not trying to make a career off of avoiding the big guns, because Tyson is the one who jumped up and took the fight with Wilder when really he shouldn't have. Tyson's shown that he'll always step up to the mark and take the risk. He went to Klitschko's backyard, Wilder's backyard. Who else has done that? When you discuss with them about coming to us, the conversation goes dead. I can see where Ben Davidson's coming from, but we had all that chit chat, didn't we, about rematch. And I suppose fans, including myself, because I'm a big boxing fan, they're going to feel short-changed, aren't they? Fans are going to feel short-changed because they wanted the good fights, didn't they? Tyson's been going on about, I'm the best, I'm the lineal champion. Does defending your lineal belt, this imaginary belt, would that pass as a lineal defence against Tom Swartz? Yeah, it looks good that he's undefeated, but he struggled with Nebo, didn't he, who Dave Allen knocked out in a round. So it is what it is, isn't it? But Tyson's a smart cookie. He's not going to put himself near any danger. If he can get millions of pounds from fighting guys from Bum City, they're Tyson's words, Bum City words. If he can get millions of pounds from it, that's up to him, innit? But I think if Tyson fought this Tom Swartz in England, I think he'd have a lot of problems. This is why he's doing these evening whips, going around building up a fan base, because he's going to need them loyal fans, isn't he? Because the real fans, the proper hardcore fans like us, we know that it's a Bum City fight, don't we? I mean, Tyson will just tear him apart, Tom Swartz. If you can't get Tom Swartz out there, he needs to pack in, doesn't he? Saunders versus Isufi for WBO interim title on May 18th. Where's Billy Joe Saunders going with Frank Warren? I don't know. I feel sorry for him. You can't get the Canelo fight. You can't get the... what's the other guy? Triple G fight. They can't get the Eubank fight. I mean, what is his team doing for him? What's going on behind the scenes with Billy Joe Saunders? What is happening with Billy Joe Saunders and Tyson Fury? They had world title belts, didn't they? Right? They had world title belts and they lost them outside of the ring. Who's to blame for that? Now, I look at it like this. When you're losing your belts outside the ring, there's something not right. There's something going on, isn't there? Now, we keep hearing from fighters, they want to fight this person, they want to fight that person, but we keep getting let down all the time, don't we? All I think at the moment is we're being fed a load of crock. I mean, who is fighting who? Who's Billy Joe fighting? Billy Joe's probably best 160 pounder at the moment. Him, Canelo or Triple G. It's a three-sided coin, isn't it? But yeah, he's going to be fighting at 168. Now there's only one fight at 168 that's any good for Billy Joe really, and that's Callum Smith. But he's 6'3.5". Billy's 5'11". Big difference, a big man on the night. Callum will be getting in that ring at £180. Easy, maybe 182. Billy Joe wouldn't be getting in at that weight, would he? Oh, maybe, I don't know. But Billy Joe against Callum Smith, that's a pay-per-view fight, isn't it, on BT or Sky Sports. Now, that's the only fight for Callum, but for Billy, sorry, but what other fights is there at 168? There ain't any of the divisions dead. Don't look like they can make the Eubank fight. So Eubank lost that first one, so he's not going to want to fight him again, is it? It's up to Frank Warren to make that fight happen. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just worried that Billy Joe's going to be one of them guys that missed the boat. If you look at my videos a couple of months ago, I said, is Billy Joe Saunders going to miss the boat? That's what I said. Now, people may scoff at that and think you're out of order, Porky, but I'm not. We're looking at a kid here that went to Olympics, Central Area, British, Commonwealth, European, World Champion, undefeated. He can't get a fight. He's a southpaw, he's tricky. Billy Joe Saunders, Central Area, British Commonwealth, European and World Champion. Undefeated, he don't get hit, tricky southpaw. He can't get a fight. Tyson Fury, undefeated. He's won everything, hasn't he, except WBC belt. He's got every belt. He's got the clean sweep, hasn't he? Can't get a fight. Why is that? Fighters, if they want fights, they'll make them happen for legacy. But you've also got to be smart, haven't you? Are we entering an era now where it's business? Are we entering an era now where it's business? Because I think we are. I think that's what's happening at the moment. We're entering an era where fighters are thinking about pound notes more than legacy. And the fans are suffering. I'm a boxing fan. I love boxing. It's in my heart. But I'm not seeing anybody fight anybody. We've got this with Yarde and Kovalev. That's a great fight. But if Yarde don't want to fight him, why? I can't. It's crazy, because he's had that #1 position ages. You don't have that position and then start saying you're A-side. How can he be A-side? He's not even got a belt. So what if Kovalev has to come to England? He's the guy with the belt. Yarde's not even got a British title yet. He don't want to fight Callum Johnson. He don't want to fight Boatsi. All we're seeing is people piling money up in the boxing industry. It's a gimme culture now, isn't it? It's like, I touched on this a few months ago. Do you know gangsters in America, mafia people? You know these people in America now, they get caught for doing RICOs, racketeering. They get done for it now, don't they? And they all grass, don't they? Do you know why? They all rat on everybody because they offer them a deal, a new identity. There's no honour no more. There ain't no John Gotti's no more, is there? He's somebody I admire. He took it on chin, did 10 years in jail, didn't he, on bang up, and died of cancer, throat cancer. Now, as far as I'm concerned, right, it's a gimme culture, innit? Young kids nowadays, young gangster kids, they're getting cars at 17-year-old, brand new cars. They've not had to work for it and strive, have they, for it? There's no... It's a gimme culture. I think boxing's going like that now, like footballers. There's that much money. There's a sea of money out there now in boxing, and fighters are thinking more about money than the fights. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's got to match up in Mid-Atlantic. You can't be thinking about money all the time and wanting to fight guys from Bum City, because then the fans get upset. So you've got to, every now and then you've got to have a gimme fight, but you can't keep doing it all the time. But I think Tyson Fury deserves a pass because he just fought Wilder. The fight where we can be critical about Tyson is the one after Tom Swartz. That's where we can be critical. But Bob Arum has a track record of keeping his fighters away from the top fights until the very end. Like he did with Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Like he did with Floyd Mayweather, Shane Mosley. He wouldn't let Floyd Mayweather go near Shane Mosley when he was riding high. Eventually Floyd Mayweather left Bob Arum and he got Shane Mosley down the line, didn't he? A bit like Jim McDonnell. He got Barry McGuigan down the line, didn't he? He didn't want to fight him when Barry McGuigan were knocking everybody out. But the only losers are us, the fans, aren't we? We're the losers. And I don't agree with it. I think it's poor. I think it's poor from all these promoters on here. Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Al Heyman. I think it's bad what they're doing. I think it's really, really bad. But what can you do? It's one of them things, isn't it? I suppose boxing's always going to be like that, isn't it? But that's just my opinion. I think boxing's always going to be like that. I don't think anybody's going to be able to change anything. But it is what it is, isn't it? But onwards and upwards. Tomorrow's a big day for me. Tomorrow's a big day. It's going to be... I'm going to be helping Dennis with a new signing. So, can't say who. But things are looking good, and I'm glad to be working with Dennis again at the moment. Learning my trade. We'll probably fall out in a week or something. I'll flip my lid at him over something I don't like, and you know, we'll have a little spat. But that's just how it goes, isn't it? So peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing, and don't put up with any. But what I do want to say before I go is thank you for leaving the comments and like and subscribing on the channel. 47% of you don't subscribe, so come on, let's see you subscribe and help the channel grow and be part of something, because there's going to be some good things happening on the channel soon. Thank you to all them people that have followed me on Twitter as well. It means a lot, that, because I'm allowed back on Twitter now, although I'll probably get a password took off me if I put any more tweets out about Rumpelstiltskin, you know, Mr. Bean, Adam Smith. But thank you for subscribing on Twitter, and thank you for them people that subscribe on do they call it subscribing on Facebook? Friend request Facebook, because we're on Facebook, Porkys Corner Facebook, and we're on Twitter at Corner Porky. If anybody wants to send any emails, it's porkycorner@mail.com. Lowercase, and that's not capitals. No S in it, it's just porkycorner@mail.com. And shout out to Steffi Ball, thanks for your email, Steffi. Seen that one coming a mile off, Steffi. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. I think that's about it, really. I'm off to Leeds tonight for a bite to eat, and have a look at a cheap van. But so other than that, I'm alright. Gonna go home, get a shave, get a suit on. I might put shirt and jeans on and loafers tonight. Go for Essex look. But peace out.